Saya mulakan dulu ya.
Boleh, sila.
Alright. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Pertama kalinya saya mengucapkan selamat datang ke program Bicara Kepimpinan Universiti Malaysia Pahang Al-Sultan Abdullah UMPSA Siri 2 2024. Bagi memberkati program kita pada pagi ini, marilah kita bersama-sama membaca Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Al-Fatihah. Amin, amin, rabbal alamin. Yang saya hormati lagi kagumi, penyampai kita pada pagi ini iaitu Profesor T.S. Dr. Lam Su Hyung, Pengarah Pusat Antarabangsa Universiti Malaysia Terengganu, Barisan Kolam Bakat UMPASA, seterusnya tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang saya kasihi sekalian. Alhamdulillah, syukur kehadrat ilahi dengan limpah kurnianya, kita dapat berkumpul bersama-sama bagi menjayakan program Bicara Kepimpinan UMPSA Siri 2 2024 pada hari ini. Untuk makluman tuan-puan, program Bicara Kepimpinan UMPSA ini merupakan salah satu program di bawah kerangka program kepimpinan UMPSA yang akan menampilkan barisan penceramah yang berwibawa terdiri daripada Kolam Bakat UMPSA sendiri, Lembaga Pengarah Universiti, Pengurusan Utama Universiti atau mereka yang berkepakaran dalam bidang seperti akademik, penyelidikan, korporat dan kepimpinan sama ada jemputan luar atau staf UMPSA. Melalui platform ini, mereka akan berkongsi pengalaman, pengetahuan dan pandangan tentang aspek-aspek penting kepimpinan merangkumi pelbagai bidang, inovasi serta cabaran semasa dalam membina organisasi yang berjaya. Sebelum bermulanya sesi bicara kita pada pagi ini, izinkan saya membacakan sedikit biodata penyampai kita. Untuk makluman semua, Profesor T.S. Dr. Lam Su Hyung merupakan lulusan daripada University of Cambridge, UK pada tahun 2012 dalam bidang kejuruteraan kimia. Beliau adalah seorang profesor di Institute of Tropical Aquaculture and Fisheries, Universiti Malaysia Terengganu, dan pada ketika ini beliau telah dilantik sebagai pengarah di Pusat Antarabangsa Universiti Malaysia Terengganu. Untuk makluman semua juga, beliau juga berkepakaran dalam bidang teknologi alam sekitar, khususnya dalam kitar semula sisa dan penggunaan biogeosin. Baiklah. Dengan masa lagi, saya dengan segala hormatnya mempersilakan Profesor T.S. Dr. Lam Su Hyung untuk menyampaikan perkongsian beliau bertajuk Navigating Academic Advance, A Journey Through Research, Strategy and Practice. Segala hormatnya dipersilakan, Prof.
Terima kasih kepada Puan Nurul Madinah. First of all, allow me to use to share my experience if possible. First of all, thank you very much to UMPSA, especially to Puan Nurul Madinah and also Dr. Nguyen, I think, who has invited me to give this talk. First of all, if I may ask, is my voice clear? Boleh dengar suara saya ke, Madinah? Jelas tak?
Boleh.
Okay. So, salam kepada semua. Hello. So, thank you for the opportunities. So, I will try my best to use these 2 hours to share some of my experience on how to grow from being a lecturer and then through research, one step at a time, and what have I learned over the years. So let me share my full slides with full screen first. Thank you. Okay, so can you see my slides, Nurul? Yes or not? Okay, so what I will be sharing today is more on my journey. So this is what I'm going to share. So I will share a bit of my journey and my strategy and also some of my practice. And if we have the time, I'll share with you on what is my writing habits and also some tips or inputs or sharings that I learned from publications. Maybe because this is one of the elements that is quite important. Right. My journey. So I showed this slides just to show that if you look at the bottom, of course, when I finish my PhDs, I come back to, I go to UMT and join as a senior lecturer. So that's where my academic journey starts. So as I think I'm the same with you all, I also go for, if I'm not mistaken, like the hybrid tracks. So like part teachings and part research. So initially, yes, of course, when we come back to universities, we are asked to teach, in fact, quite a number of subjects during my times. So, but during my time as a senior lecturer, so I also take opportunities or also find opportunities to try to develop my research capacities. So one of them is, of course, I try to find opportunities to expand my skills and also my experience. So by trying to find opportunities to work, or do research attachments in overseas. So in this case, during my time as a lecturer, I managed to find some times to do a research attachments back to Cambridge universities for I think 6 months at that time. And at the same time, I know that coming from a background of chemical engineering, so I would also like to get in touch or try to deal or try to help the industry and see whether I can develop some solutions for them. So I also take the opportunities to sit through this professional certification. So I managed to get this competent person in hazardous waste management. And after that, once I get this competent person or the certified environmental professionals, there are some consulting projects that I can involve myself in. So over the years, then after 4 or 5 years, yes, God has been on my side, so I was promoted to associate professors. So what I would like to highlight is maybe for researchers or lecturers at the beginning, yes, we have teachings, but you or we also have to find time to do research and also try to do some consultancy if possible. That's how I grow at the beginning. So once I I was promoted to associate professors. Then I also got some opportunities. Like I was selected to join the CEO faculty programs, and that is, I would say, that is a very good programs where the researchers being selected will be placed to industry, companies, to learn with the CEO of a companies. So that was the time that I was exposed to a lot to industrial and also their research and also try to develop solutions with them. So I grew a lot from that. And also I find opportunity to also perform attachment in Hong Kong, in Education University of Hong Kong, doing some research as well. And also have a chance to also do attachment in China, in Henan Agricultural Universities, using my expertise or my field of interest to work on joint research with them. And at the same time, I also applied to become a TS during that time. So this in a way builds up your experience in research and also your connection to the industry, and at the same time you get a professional certifications. Then after we have built up some experience from research and also from teaching as well, then the top management of my universities somehow gave me an opportunity to appoint me as a deputy director of international centers. And that is the time where I started to have more exposure to the international platforms, meaning because in international centers, we help to oversee or manage international matters such as international relationships, MOU, MOA, student mobility, and all that. And of course, despite holding an admin positions, I never stopped to work on the research and also to develop my research teams. So one way of doing that is, of course, I develop or I try to collaborate with some universities. So in my case, I managed to have close collaboration with Nanjing Forestry Universities and also in Yunzhe University and National Zhongxing Universities, being appointed as sort of like a visiting professors with them. So by being a visiting professors, you have a chance to actually work on joint research with the professors, the lecturers, and also the students there. And that is how you also shows the usefulness of your expertise. Then yes, again, lucky. Then I got promoted to be a professor, and at this time I was transferred. From faculties to a research institutes, hoping to dedicate. The top management hopes that I can dedicate more of my time and efforts to research and developments. So I was placed in. I'm still now affiliated with the Institute of Tropical Aquaculture and Fisheries. Then once after that, of course, I continue to develop collaborations with partners and collaborators in overseas in different parts of the countries. And after a few years, then I was again being promoted to the director of international centers, overseeing the matters related to international relationships of the universities. So that's how my career grows. I would say it's in a step-by-step approach. Right. So over the years, I think one important thing is hopefully, not saying hopefully, it is good that you can develop your research team, form and develop your research teams. And I'm lucky that over the years, I have been supervising students. And so I have masters, PhDs, and postdoc and research associates. So what I would like to highlight from this slide is train and groom your students well. Because let me give an examples. So if you look at the research associate of mine, Dr. Peter, Dr. Liu, and Dr. Wan, they are all previously my masters and then PhD students. And after PhDs, they still in a way collaborate with me and also helping with the research of our team. So I would say train your student well and also try to give as many opportunities to them as possible. Then even when they finish their studies, and they will still get in touch with you and collaborate with you. Like Dr. Peter has become a lecturer in University Technology Sarawak. Dr. Wan is also now a lecturer. Dr. Wan Adiba is a lecturer in UMTs. So imagine that now you also have more people in the academia that we can work on research together. So what I can say is train and guide your student well. And if you look at the PhD student column, Elfina Azwa is also previously my final year project students. And she then continued her master's and then PhD with me. She just completed her PhD actually, going to Viva. Going to graduates on next week during convocations. And I also have experience in like supervising students from overseas. So if possible, please also grab the opportunity to supervise students as many as possible. And yes, being a researcher, if you are going for the research tracks or even the hybrid tracks, I would say it's always good. I always tell myself never stop in applying grants. So over the years, I keep on applying and applying grants. And when you keep on doing that, of course, luck will, in the end, on your side. So so far over the years, I've managed to, my team managed to secure grants to continue with our research. So my message to, my key message to share with you all is, even if you started as a senior or young lecturers, or never stop applying grants, because there are so many opportunities to apply grants here and there, whether it's in local or international. So keep on applying grants. When you have the grants, then of course you can get students, you can supervise students, and you can have collaborations, whether with the local partners and international partners. So that is also one way of how I grow. So when you goes up to a stage, like if you look at this size, initially I started to apply grants in university levels. Like during my time, we have this young researcher grant or a grant that support young researcher. So when you get that grant, after that, you started to apply for the grants from, KBT, like FRGS. And then after that, you can, once you get in touch with the industry, you can start applying for all those industry-related grants like Commercialized Initiative Grant, Matching Grant, and all this. And slowly, when you have international partners, then you can go for some international grants. So this is also one way I will share with you is always keen on collaborations and never stop applying grants. And even at this stage now we can target more interesting and higher amount of grants. So like recently we've been in touch with Petronas and also Saudi, the Saudi Basic Science Initiative, trying to apply grants so that we can do some more tangible projects. Right. And another thing that I would really encourage you all to do is also try to get involved in journals as much as possible if you can, so that you can learn about journals, especially on being editors. So if you look at this, these are like the roles that have been involved in journals over the years since 2012. Okay, so initially I volunteer myself to be reviewers for this and that journals. And after some times, then when the journals get to know the editors, they get to know you, then they will started to invite you to be a guest editors to handle a special issue for this and that journals. So, and after that, and they will even, the editor-in-chief or the editors, they will invite or nominate you to be an editorial board member of this and that journal. And that is quite good in growing, I would say one is your reputation. And secondly, of course, you get to know about the journals in your field. And when you know more about the journals in the fields, like you know what are the hot topics nowadays, what is the futures, what is the emerging topics in the futures, then you can, of course, get prepared and then use it to plan for your research and areas. So slowly you will climb from being guest editors to editorial board members, and then to be associate editors and editors. So I would say it's good to have experience in this. And because I find that sometimes, our researchers in universities, sometimes we think that, why we need to spend time on reviewing papers and also being involved in editors. But I can assure you that this is a good track to follow, and you get to know more about journals. And why we need to know more about the journals, because of whether we want to deny or not, publication is always important as an important element in our career. So in order to publish good papers or something, it's good that you know about the journals that you want to submit your paper and publish your paper at. So one way for young researchers, even like if you are associate professors, you can start with like, you want to know about how is it, what does it feel like, or what you need to do as an editorial board members or involved in the editorial board of a journal. First, you can of course consider like there will be always openings from this and that journal on inviting researchers to join as a youth editorial board. Like for this year and also last year, for this journal that I'm involved, like Carbon Research, is indexed in Scopus, and I think the site score is quite high. So we have been also trying to like recruit more researchers to join as a young editorial board members. So I have listed here, as you can see. So what is the role of the young editorial board members? Like you can contribute or invite manuscripts, and then you get the chance to participate in the research webinars, and you may you also need to help to promote the journals. And from this experience and from your contributions, you get opportunities to participate in international conference hosted by these journals, and sometimes they also provide sponsorships. So there are quite some benefits, or good outcomes from involving in editorial boards. So I will urge you all to consider joining editorial boards. And for this Carbon Research, if you are interested, please feel free to get in touch with Dr. Liu or even me if you are interested to contributing to this journal. And yes, I also take these opportunities to highlight, to promote this journal, Biochar. For those of you, if you are involved in Biochar, and if you would like to get involved in this journal, please feel free. We are going to launch the calling for joining as a young youth editorial board or young editorial board. So please feel free to get in touch with us if you would like to contribute. So opportunities like these are available everywhere actually. So I would urge you all to consider trying to involve yourself in editorial board members or editorial positions. Now, let me share a bit of my maybe strategies. I've been thinking before. Before I gave this talk, like what I want to prepare. So I've been thinking back, like over the years, what kind of strategies that I have been using, and it's quite effective. And then here I would like to share with you. So the first is being a young researcher, or at the beginning, I would say it is always very important first to build up your research strength and team. Why you want to do that? Because, people needs to know you. So how people can know you? Of course, they will know you like in a way that what is your strength and what team you have. So this, I will owe a big credit to my, I would say how I grow from one step to another step is, I would say the first thing is always to build up my research strengths. So let me just give you some example. I'm very active in all this microwave research using microwave heatings in different applications. And in particular, I study or I investigate a lot of this microwave pyrolysis. In fact, I'm very keen on develop these technologies so that it can be applied in different processings and applications. So I've been developing process. So initially, we started by doing fundamental research on these technologies or this technique, like using a conventional microwave oven, and then we try to put biomass and waste, and then to produce this and that things. Okay, so and then slowly you start from lab scale, and then you have students, and then you yourself also involved in this research, and then once it gets to a certain level, and then you will develop into a pilot scale. So we started our research. I'm just giving one example. Like for microwave pyrolysis, initially we don't use microwave heating for this pyrolysis process. We started with a conventional pyrolysis. Like you just want to know what is a pyrolysis process. So we use a conventional approach to generate this pyrolysis process. Then from there, of course, you publish a few papers. And then after that, we know that, using microwave has its advantages. And then we go into the batch mode, a continuous mode, and then you optimize the process, meaning you really, really focus on develop these technologies. And at the same time, you talk to the industry, and then you also try on improving the process by one way is hopefully that you can develop your process so that it can process or treat the several types of waste at the same time. So we try to research and develop cold pyrolysis using microwave heating as well. And then we publish paper. And at the same time, we then also try to optimize the process by incorporate catalysts, trying to reduce the operating temperatures and also improve the efficiency of the process. And recently, we have been for the past few years, we have been using a vacuum approach for this pyrolysis process, because we think that using a vacuum approach can reduce the processing cost by excluding the use of nitrogen or helium gas, and also improve the products and also the properties of the process. So we've been, of course, over the years, when we do research, we also publish some papers. So this is how I would like to show. Initially, when we have some ideas as researchers, we start to apply for grants, and then we start to develop a simple batch systems. I'm from a chemical engineering point of view, so this is how I plan and also conduct research. So we start designing a batch systems, and then we always think of, if we can do it in a batch systems, what about a continuous operation? If we can do a continuous operation, that's even better. So we try to do it, and at the same time, we always improve the design of the reactors. We do single mode, multi-mode, and then slowly we upgrade our system into a battle systems, and then using additional features to improve the process. So this is how we do it. I always mention we is because this is not my own effort. It's actually a joint efforts from a team of researchers and also students and also collaborators. So when we have developed a systems, a reactors, of course, we will also look into the economical, the life cycle, the exergo environmental and the eco-environmental aspect, trying to improve the sustainability of this process for this and that application. And for this, of course, we started to have more researchers to involve. So we also look into this aspect, and now we have a team that we can do this. And of course, when you design, you try to develop your process or system up to a certain level. And when you are confident, of course, you start applying for IP protections. So our team also managed to apply patents. We have one patents approved and also get one trademark register so that we can proceed to the next level of trying to scale up the process. So, and then we move towards into technological development where we try to promote our technologies to these universities, to this and that company, hopefully to attract and also encourage them to also try this microwave processings. And then so in this process, we managed to we started to license the technologies to companies so that the companies can help to promote our process. And then we've been promoting our microwave applications. And over the years, yes, we have like 2 companies, and also we have some universities who have asked us to design some microwave prototypes for them. And these are the pictures and the systems that we have developed from them. We have sold systems to researchers in In fact, if you look at the picture on the right at the bottom, there was a researchers in UMPSA, if I'm not mistaken, where we have developed microwave systems for them. So we always adopt approach like we research on a process, and then we develop the process, and then we think that it's not good that we only develop ourselves. We also promote this process like these microwave systems to these researchers in this university and that researcher in another university and also in company. And if they are interested, then we will ask whether you want us to design for you so that you can also try on your application. So this is how we develop our technologies and transfer and then towards another level. Then when things are getting more promising, when you gain confidence from some companies, from the industries, they started to approach you to talk about scaling up the process. So we also managed to scale up one of our microwave processes to a slightly bigger scale. And then we now use these systems to convert some waste into a biochar. Okay, then once you gain to a stage, we also have a chance to involve in bigger applications. Like we are involved in developing this microwave prototype with companies, and then trying to convert biomass into activated carbon, feed oil, and fertilizers. So and then keep on designing some new new systems, new prototypes, trying to convert waste into this and that type of products. So, and also we will, when you are at this, people are having confidence with you, then some companies will also invite you together to involve in some of their projects. Like in this case, we are also involved in developing these microwave prototypes for using microwave to dry and convert food waste into animal feed. And also for develop microwave systems for industrial starch. So this, I would say, in a way that the whole team is excited that we managed to develop from small scale microwave systems, and then now at the stage that we are involved in some projects that you can see the real application of this process. Okay, and yes, so my strategy is, of course, I wouldn't say this is my strategy. Actually, I was advised by my mentor. I have a few mentors over the years who has advised me like how to grow my research. So my approach is that we have developed a microwave pyrolysis technology as a platform technologies, and then we continue to optimize it. And then and at the same time, using this process, you can convert some biomass or waste into this and that products, right? So we also try on different applications of this and that products. So this is how we develop, our research team and also our research inventions. And that is the first. So build up your research expertise, okay, and also team. Next is always important. To me, it's always very, very important to build up your networks. So our team never stop collaborating. So we, whenever we attend conferences, we have these opportunities to meet with researchers from other universities. We will always think of the opportunity to collaborate. Like whether, let's say, this universities, they have this team, they are studying this application, then our team will always think whether we can use microwave technologies in their applications. Then we will start a discussion. So we are always keen to have collaboration. So I will urge researchers in UMPSA to always not just like stay in the universities, but always expressing yourself and trying to approach researchers in universities for collaboration. So so far, we have experience in collaborating with researchers from these universities, and some of them we are still collaborating. And of course, one thing that I would like to highlight is that the world is big, but nowadays is very easy to approach each others. So never stop approaching and also collaborating with researchers from overseas. So I would say, in a way, I'm quite lucky that over the years, we have the opportunities to collaborate with researchers from different parts of the world. I couldn't tell you all like how much benefits or how big is the ROI from collaborating with researchers from international, but there are so many advantages. Maybe one thing I can highlight is during COVID, okay, we Malaysia researchers, we are not allowed to do research. We go to the lab, our lab is closed and everything. But at that time, luckily, like some of my collaborators in other countries, they are still allowed to go to the university or even to use the lab or something. So in this case, because of our collaboration, so we managed to also have some of our research that can still be performed during the COVID period. So this is one thing that I can see is very useful. But of course, there are also other advantages that I will highlight in the following slides. And of course, coming from, back when I was doing my PhDs, I was trained by my supervisors or mentors that doing research is not it should be in a way that you need to know the problems of the industries and the companies and then trying to develop a solution for them. So when I got back to Malaysia, I also always keen on talking to the companies and also industries and to see if there's anything that we can help them to research. So we've been always getting in touch with these companies. So now they have become our industrial partners. So we have been working on some research collaborations as well. Okay. So at the beginning, when I think back, we come back after our PhDs, we are still new. So what can we do? So at that time, I only think that, at least I can help or I can offer myself to help. So this is what I would like to tell you. It's a good way to start with. So always approach and offer yourself to help. So how to help? First of all, always if you want to help, people will want to know what you can help. So the first thing is you can always introduce and share your research strengths. You tell people what is your research expertise or what is your research views and what are the skills that you have and also the resources that you can have. And then you think of sometimes when you have told them all these things, they will approach you for collaborations. And also, I'm not sure where I have learned this, but this keyword, volunteerisms. is very good. Always volunteer yourself to your collaborators, your ex-supervisors or your mentors or your seniors to help on, here I should mention, it's not just joint papers, but joint research. Because like you are in UMPSA, I'm sure there are some active research team or some professors who have some ongoing research or something. And then in that case, you, based on your expertise, I think you can approach these professors or these research teams on volunteering yourself to help with their works. And in most cases, of course, people always welcome somebody to help if given the opportunities. So you can help with your supervisors, your peers with their ongoing research, analysis, experiments, and also co-supervisors, being as co-supervisors for your collaborators, students, and also or your FYP, the final year project students. And in terms of paper and manuscripts, you can also help to comment, proofreading, and improving the content of the papers from your perspective and from your expertise. So I have shown an example. You can actually go to Scopus and then search, let's say in UMPSA, who are the active researchers. So in terms of whether in terms of the publications or in terms of the H-index, then you will know that, oh, they are quite productive. So so definitely they will need some help in terms of some of the experimental works or some of the students where they need some co-supervising. So that will be a good opportunity for you to volunteer yourself. So I did it when I initially come back to UMT as a senior lecturer. So I volunteer myself to one or two professors saying that, Prof, you have any students that you think that I can help to co-supervise, or Prof, maybe you are doing on this research works. I think my expertise or I'm doing this, which I think can help with your research. Any chance that I can be involved in your research? So tak malu-malu lah, volunteer yourself. Then that's how you can start at the beginning, because we all understand that when we just join a university as a lecturer, you don't have grants. So you only have your expertise and also, I would say, your mouth to volunteer yourself to approach others. Okay. So it's very good. You see, like I'm showing these two papers. Is what I would like to highlight is that let's say for the first paper on the left, this research, I do it in 2019. At that time, I already graduated my PhD for 5 years, I think. And I still approach my supervisors back in the Cambridge universities on some, seeking his input and also comments on experimental design and something. So this is a way of showing that I still get in touch with my ex-supervisors. And at the same time, I also approach some well-known researchers in my field, like Prof. Susanna, Prof. Daniel, and Prof. Yan Kwan in Korea to together join and involve in your experiments. And of course, having these joint collaborations, it would help you in, of course, producing a good research and also good data. And then, of course, your chances of publishing in a higher impact journal is higher. And if you see on the right, I would also like to show you that when I initially I always involve my research team members where I have, let's say, Ho Yiling is my final year students, Rocky Liu at that time is my PhD student. So I always involve my PhD students together with my collaborators in overseas to always plan and then do the research together and also publish together. And of course, that is research papers. At the same time, I also know that it's good to write and publish review papers. So I always encourage my team members, my students, to work with my collaborators to get, of course, with me as well, on writing review papers. So review papers can attract high citation. So I would say in a way that is also good in advancing your research careers. Okay. So another strategy is always communicate and learn and work with your peers. So always introduce your research whenever you have the opportunities, or whenever you see this researcher, that researcher, whether it's in a conference or in a visit to universities, try to find out those with experience or active in research and publication, especially in your area. You can start by finding those active researchers in Malaysia in your expertise, and then try and approach them, find an opportunity to get to know them, and then talk to them. And then, of course, if given the opportunities, volunteer yourself to do research, and then after that, draft and write the papers and publish together. And my key message is learn and do experience with experts. That's what I would like to say. Okay. And also learn by doing with your, another way to start is also learn by doing it with your mentors or supervisors. Okay, I'm sure we all have studied our PhD, graduated from our PhDs. So try to still get in touch or also collaborate with your supervisors. And also I would also like to highlight that we don't just collaborate with our ex-supervisors, but of course, over the years, if you know that there are like these good researchers, active researchers in your field, you can also try to initiate collaboration with them, asking them to be your mentors. And in most cases, they are all very willing to help. And also do together with your team members and other researchers. And so in some cases, you can also collaborate with your supervisors, collaborators. Okay, so example, right? I'm a person who is quite into research. So I mean, in this case, more into experiments and then writing up the research papers and then for publications. Okay, but at the beginning stage, I don't know too much about writing a review papers. I don't know how to write a good review paper. So at that time, I seek help from my collaborators in Denmark, Prof. Christian Sohn, and then one way is have him to advise, to guide not only me, but also my students on writing a review paper. And the best way to start is, of course, to work together on writing a joint review papers. So it's good that if you can see that, like, you approach international researchers, and then he agrees to help, then you form a team. You form a team to write a review paper together. So that is also a good way to start. You see, at that time, like we think that this chlorpyrifos is a hazardous compound detected in fruit and vegetables. So we think that it's good to write a review papers on this. So we started to do the literature review on the relevant papers, and then we wrote the review papers and published. And also from here, I would like to show you that we always work in teams. Okay. So by this, I mean that I always encourage my students to work together, whether it's in their research or whether it's in writing review papers. So I always have a few members of my research teams team up with my international collaborators, and also team up with researchers from the same universities to involve in in doing research, and then of course publish together. Okay. And another strategy is also that I have been adopting is that I know about what are the journals that I would like to target in my field. So at that time, I would really like to have a chance to publish in CanSubsChem, but I have never published paper in that. So what did I do is that I approached a researcher in China, Professor Yuan Tongqi, at that time, and then seek opinion on him volunteer myself to him that whether I can involve in your research, and then whether I can, and after that, and of course after that we have a chance to write paper together, and he agrees. So from these joint collaborations, we have one paper published in Green Chemistry and CanSubsChem, and these are the two journals that at the beginning stage that I would always want to have a chance, if I can, to publish in this journal. And also by working with these international researchers, first I volunteer myself, then I work with them. Then, of course, I get to know about if you want to publish in green chemistry, cancer scams, what kind of the research, at what level, or what are the requirements? You learn by doing this together with those who know about, publishing in these journals. Okay, then once I get the touch of like knowing that, oh, the importance of collaborating with international researchers, then I also volunteer myself to Prof. Christian Sohn, who is a very well-known researcher in Denmark. So, we started to work together. I know I have been reading articles in Science, and then at one stage, I think about, wouldn't it be good if we can one day publish a paper in Science? So at that time, my approach is that I approach researchers who have experience in publishing in Science. So I volunteer myself. So I start by involving, by writing together with Prof. Christian Sohn, and at the same time, he guides me on how to write. So this is how I develop, also learn a lot from this. So when I'm confident after collaborating with and also learning how to write articles for journals like Science, so I also volunteer myself to Prof. Christian Sohn. Maybe at this time I would like to initiate a topic and then write that topic together under his supervision. And of course, the luck has been on my side. And then yes, we managed to write a short articles and then publish in this. At that time, I still remember in I think 2020, if I'm not mistaken, there was this wildfire in New Zealand, and then we think of like whether it will have a risk or it will create, it will be a damage to the koala bear. So and then we started to form a team and then write together, and slowly then when you feel the excitement of being able to write and then of course to publish in these journals, and then you started to have momentums and the motivation, so you keep on writing and writing, and from there on we continue to collaborate together. Prof. Christian Sohn and me continue to collaborate together and then started to write papers for different. So I have to highlight that it's very important that even we, no matter what stage we are, it's always good to not stop at writing. We should continue to write and then try to improve our writing as much as possible, so that we know, actually from writing, you can learn a lot of things and then you can have a chance to publish in this and that journals. So yes, we've been collaborating over the years, finding some hot topics and trying to write. And then of course, and it's quite fun actually. Like whenever like you have your collaborators in Denmark or in Germany, sometimes they got this idea and then they think this will be a hot topics. They want to study further and they want to create awareness. And then so in that case, they will invite you all together, we all together, and then to write a paper, to write this paper together. So that kind of experience is something that I really value and cherish about. So we've been working together to write, and in fact, we also try to approach by publishing, sending our articles in other journals like Nature, and we managed to publish. And then we mostly write about topics relevant to environment. So and I have to say that really I learned a lot from all my collaborators, because some of them, they are really good at writing and they know what to write and how to write to target these journals. And the highlight is that we managed to have one article published in Lancet. Why we think is quite satisfying is because Lancet is a medical journal, and we never think that one day we environment or engineers can publish a paper in Lancet. But because we also write something on this One Health, so Lancet likes our idea, and then we publish the papers. And of course, when you have this, you got to know these researchers who have published a lot in Nature and Science, and then you learn from them, and then slowly, of course, you will be invited, and then you will involve in a bigger, a large scale the research that can lead to a submission and trying to publish the findings in Nature or science-related journals. So yes, now we are also like involving in international collaborating projects where we recently published like two articles in Nature Food on this metal mercuries. So we have to highlight that is one thing that I feel excited is we never stop trying, and then we continue to write and submit to this journal. I would really urge you all is trying to always write and also involve in writing articles together with researchers from different parts of the world, and that is quite interesting. So we never stop trying. We submit paper, to this Nature journal and that Nature journals. We always, I have to say that we got rejected a lot actually, but we never stop trying. So we submit to this and that journal a lot. So for you guys, this is how I started at the beginning. So try to draft one papers, maybe one short articles in 2 to 3 months, or you can encourage your student to do that. And then find a time to write for 1 or 2 hours in 3 to 5 days a week. You can start with 3 days. Every day you find 1 hour to do that. And then once you get the momentum, the engine just starts, and then you will stick to this routine. And then of course it helps you a lot. So we always take research and publication as a responsibility and passion to learn, and also to promote and share the findings. Okay, so normally I would encourage my students. Shazana is a final year student. Fong Xingying at that time is a master student. Rocky Liu is my PhD student. Together with me, we will always, whenever my students have conduct experiments, whether it's big or small, I would always encourage them to write into papers. And then yes, no matter whether it's a high impact journal or how low impact journal, I think for a student, if you can encourage them, and if they manage to have their findings, their papers published in a journal, and that's good enough. So this is how I encourage my students. And always guide and also work together with your mentors or supervisor and friends. So work on joint research, publication, and also all this. Okay. So another thing that I would like to highlight is when we design our experiment, design our research, we also at that time we also already think that what journals we want to target. Okay. It's not that we have completed the research and then based on the result, then only we think what journal we want to target. When we design our experiments, we also already list out the journals that we want to target. Okay, so for journals, one thing I can share is one strategies from our team is that I always assure that my students or my postdocs and all this, if you want to target this journal and that journal, always read the guide for authors carefully so you know the requirements. So you know what to do or what is required so you can fulfill them. Rather than you finish your experiment, then only you plan, then it's a bit late. Okay, so we always, maybe I can share is we always check the guide for authors. And then from here, like these are the things that you can always check and make sure whether there are such requirements, like the length of manuscripts, the word limit, for abstract. Some journals, they limit the number in their abstracts, and conclusions. Like some they want a short conclusion. For some journal, they are okay with a long conclusions, and also the number of format of the figure and the tables, and also the reference format. So reference format is sometimes very important for this and that journal, because for some editors, when they look at your papers, when you submit paper, when they look at your paper, they may just go to your reference first and see whether you follow the format or not. If you don't follow the format, they will reject. And whether you need highlights for your this, for some journals, you'd have to follow that. Okay, and maybe I can give some examples. For some journals, they also have a restrictions on the number of figures and tables. Let's say in total, they only allow of a maximum of 8 figure and table. So if let's say your paper you have 10 figures, then you are rejected straight away. So it's always good to have to study and also to have your students to study the guide for authors so that you know the requirement. Okay. And yes, attend conferences. I have to say it's very, very important to attend conferences. I mean, if always try to attend conferences. Okay. So these are some of the benefits that that you can gain from attending conferences. Of course, initially when you want to participate in this conference, you will have to submit your abstract to this conference. And then, of course, for that conference, if they have some special issues of journals, part under the conference, then of course your abstracts could be recommended for this and that special issues. So that's one of the benefits. What is most important is that when you attend conference, you get to know and make friends with experts, and also in some cases, it's also they are the editors of this and that journals. So part of the outcome is that you may be invited by this expert or these editors to submit to the paper that they are the editors. So this is very important. So I would say whenever you guys attend conferences, maybe you can spend some efforts to look at who are the plenary speakers, who are the keynote speakers or invited speakers. And in most cases, these speakers, some of them, they are editors of this and that journal. Then, of course, oh, maybe this is the person that I can try to get to know and talk to them. At the very least, I introduce myself and then also try to ask them about the journal. Then, of course, they will share some tips of the journal. So I show these two pictures is that, like, I still remember there was this conference in 2014, I think. So during the conference, I saw this Korean guy. He's actually a Korean professor sitting there alone. And so I become the person who is a bit busybody. I volunteer myself to go and sit down just to talk to him. So just trying to chit chat. And it turns out that he is also an editor of a Korean Journal of Chemical Engineering at that time. So after we get to know each other, and then when we attend the conference, I come back to universities. After a week, I got an invitation by him to submit a review paper to this journal. So these are the opportunities that you can get. And after that, he also become one of my close collaborators. We have joint research grant. Also, we invited each other to visit universities and all this. And this is Professor Paul Williams. So he is considered like the expert. I would say a very well-known expert in my field, pyrolysis. So I have a chance to meet him in a conference I think it's in Prague at that time. So I went to talk to him, and then it turns out that he is also an editor of this and that journal. So not only I get a chance to know about to learn from him, from his expertise, but also I got a chance to know more about the journal that he's an editor, and then also he invited me to submit papers as well. So these are some of the advantages from attending conferences. So I know that sometimes when you attend conference, there are a lot of people or something, but if you can do some preparation by studying who are the researchers that you know that it's important that you can get to know with, then at least when you attend a conference, you go and talk to them. It's very easy. So this is an example that I got an invitation from Professor Wang Fang. Okay, I met her in a conference, and then we just chit chat, and then we talk about our research field, our expertise, and something. And then when I come back in a few days, I got this invitation to submit a review papers. And so these are the opportunities that you can get by attending conferences. Okay, so Okay, this is Dr. Wan Adiba, who is now a lecturer in UMT as well. He got to know with this Dr. Prof. Prof. Elden from Netherlands. And it turns out that he always conduct a publication course free of charge at this country and that country. So when Dr. Adiba got to know him, then Dr. Adiba was also invited to join his workshop or publication course free. So these are also another kind of advantages. So I would always really like encourage you all to attend conferences here and there. And I also try to be honest by saying that, like, for some of the conferences at the beginning stage during my career as a senior lecturer, for some of the conferences, I actually attend the conference by paying on my own, meaning that not using my grant. At that time, I don't have grant, and also not, I mean, I didn't get any university funding. So, but I invest by paying on my own to join these conferences. And in the end, I mean, you got a lot actually inputs and also benefits from attending the conferences. So these are some photos that I managed to take with, friends and collaborators. They all have become friends and collaborators now. So some of them, they have become, let's say, Professor Chu, who is a fellow or academicians in China, who is very influential. Professor Christian Soner, editors of this journal, who has now become my close friends. And Professor Yu Fai Sang, also, I mean, has been a good friend. I managed to get some grants from Hong Kong because of him. So, and also Professor Wang Qihua from NUS, who is very active in biochar research. Professor Jiri Clemers, who was formerly the editor-in-chief of Journal of Cleaner Productions, but unfortunately he passed away a few years ago. So in conferences, you get to know these kind of peoples, and sometimes it's very interesting that you go there and then you talk to him, and then some of these researchers, they may invite you for a coffee break or even to go out for lunch or something. So that's where you can really establish, more connection or collaboration with him. Okay. So yeah, I never stop attending conferences, and every time during the conferences, you get to know nice researchers, interesting researchers, or good friends who has become friends and everything. And people, you get to know researchers from different parts of the world. So that's really the fun of attending conferences. Like for this conference, biochar conference, I attended last week. Actually, I was in Shenyang, China. So managed to meet a new friend, this Professor Meng Jun. Meng Jun is chief editor of the biochar research, and then Professor Chen, who is a well-known researcher, and then we visited some places and all this. So these are some things that I think I really urge you all to do, is to attend conferences, okay? And expand your networkings. So when you attend the conferences, you get to know, you volunteer yourself to this and that researchers in overseas. So it's good to expand your networking. So when up to a stage, you will get invitations to do research attachment, and that's how I went to this and that university to do research attachment. During my position as senior lecturers and associate professors. So I was invited by these researchers and that researcher, this professor and that professors, to do research attachment at his universities for 2 months and 3 months. And under full coverage in some cases. And also you started to have exchange students. You can send your students to their lab. They can send students to your lab and to have joint research. So invitation to have joint research. And then, of course, this is very common. Like your collaborators are always willing to share their research facilities and networks with you. And of course, for some of their review papers or some of their work, they will invite you. And then, of course, you will be invited to contribute to their papers. And also, you will be invited to write review papers together. So these are the advantages. Okay. And yes, one thing that I also encourage you all is that one way of establishing collaboration is of course, you can organize, you can invite, or volunteer yourself to write a joint review papers with collaborators. This is, I would say, one of the easiest route to establish collaborations. Okay, so these are some of the outcomes. Like, because I involved in this biochar research, so I have a plan of want to see whether it's good to use torrent fraction technology process to, in the biochar research. So we wrote a review. So in this case, we also invite researchers from other countries and also from other, institutes in Malaysia to write different chapters or different sections, and then together we can produce a good review. So I work a lot on pyrolysis process. So also I have been inviting researchers. Like, I think Tengku Nilam is from US, Masa University at that time, and also researchers from overseas to write a joint review paper together. So you can write a long review papers, and then up to a level where you can really like write a good review, and then you can publish in good impact journals like PECS, which is like one of the best, the top journals in my field, and then to work on to write review together. So you can write on long review papers whenever we think about some ideas we want to try to use this technology, maybe in our application or something, and then if we can always start with writing a joint review paper together. So this is another way to that you can consider to grow your career. Okay. So, and then of course, we always write, one way to show your expertise is that people may access whether you have written and published review paper in your field, and as a way of judging your, your expertise. Okay. So we never stop on writing review papers in our field. And also we want to know what is going on, what are the new trends, what are the limitations. So from writing review papers, you will know all this, okay? Right. And of course, at the same time, your collaborators, they will also invite you to write review papers. So in this case, like I have Prof. Chen Wei Sing from National Cheng Kung Universities. He's also doing on microwave heating. So he invited me, and then we have our team members to write the review paper together. And there was a time that I tried to convert mushroom waste, the waste in mushroom, into biochar. So before that, we also write a review together. Okay, right. Maybe I will just take a stop here for a while to answer any question, if there's any questions. Yeah, before I continue, if there's any questions, thank you. It'll take like 1 or 2 minutes to answer any question. You can also type your questions in your in the chats, and I will also try to answer that.
Alright, ada tak sesiapa
Ada
yang
soalan
ada nak bertanya? Nak bertanyakan soalan pada Prof. Lam ataupun nak terus proceed, so di akhir nanti baru nak bertanya?
Boleh juga. Okay, kita tengok ada soalan lah. Kalau if they say you don't have question for now, then I will continue.
Alright. So I guess continue kot, Doktor. Prof.
Okay, boleh. Saya continue in that case. Okay. Alright, let me continue. Nurul, tadi masa saya present tu, suara dengar kan semua tu? But sometimes, I'm not sure whether dengar ke tak dengar. Ada tak?
Dengar, clear, Prof.
Dengar,
clear.
okay, clear. Okay, then I continue. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, now we go to my practice. So these are some of my practices. So whenever I go to this place, that place, I go to this conference, I go to that conference, I visit this university, I visit that universities, or I met someone during tea time, or I attended a meeting in KBT, attended to wherever I'm anywhere, I always practice this. First, I always introduce and promote my universities and also my institute and the facilities. So people know that what is your universities, what is your university good at, what is the niche area, and what is your institute, what kind of a facility your institute at, and what is the strength of your institute, and also what kind of facilities. So these all will bring to the chances to have collaborations. So that's how I do it. So I always started most of my presentation with these slides to introduce UMT. So similarly, you can also have slides to introduce your universities. So when people look at this, then they will they will know, oh, your universities, like say in my case, UMT is very close to the sea, and we are very active in marine and aquatic science. So, and we have boats and ships or something, and also we have students also involved in all these sea activities like all this sailing. Then you can always come to UMT for student mobility. So this is the way that I always introduce. And then, of course, I will introduce that we have about 12,000 people in UMTs, and then what kind of facilities that we have. We have hatcheries, and we have swimming pools. So if you want to send your students, you can enjoy the swimming pool, something like that. So this is how I normally start. And we will also show that what facilities or what research centers we have in UMTs, like this Jaga Hutan, Rada Island, we have this Turtle Research and Conservation Center. So every year we receive volunteers. We also have student summer school and also mobility programs in these centers. So it's surprisingly sometimes that like when you promote your universities, you promote your research centers, maybe you are not affiliated with that research center, but it doesn't matter. I have experience where like initially there are some researchers or their students who are interested in this turtle volunteering work. So they come to UMT. When they come to UMT, and then you get a chance to host them. Then when you host them, and then that leads to some collaborations. So I have experience in this. So I always introduce. Oh, we also mentioned that. I also mentioned that we have this Kenya Lake research stations. So we have this. You can do research on aquacultures, and also we have this houseboat. And so, if any one of you who is interested in aquaculture research can always approach us, or if you want to do student mobility or summer school, can consider UMT as well, right? And of course, we have Bidong Island. So we can do team building activities. We can do diving and snorkeling activities. I'm sure UMPSAs also have your own unique research stations that you can highlight. So this is also a way to promote and also to attract researchers to visit your universities, the research stations, and also to leading to a chance to collaborate with you. Okay. And yeah, we have this Setu wetland. So for these wetland research stations, we always have researchers from different parts of the world coming because they want to know more about mangrove, different parts of the mangrove, whether it's about the sediment, whether it's about the soil, the air, or the aquatic species. So that will lead to research collaboration and opportunities, many research opportunities actually. Okay, and I also introduce where I come from, the research institute. So I always I would say, oh, I come from Institute of Tropical Agriculture and Fisheries. So we are now like our niche is on sustainable shellfish aquaculture. So, and I will introduce and promote the green technology team where I'm involved in, and then we will tell like what kind of research that we are working, which researchers we have. Then we also welcome collaborations. Okay. And after you finish introducing your universities, your institute, and also facilities, you can always prepare a few slides already printed in your mind. What is your research projects? What research projects you are interested, or what research idea that you have? And then try to introduce and promote whenever the opportunity is there. Okay. So like there's this project that we are now working on. We are trying to convert some shellfish waste, let's say the stream skin, okay, the stream shells into chitin and chitosan. So we prepare a slide. We show that we are working on this research. So so maybe some people who is interested in producing chitosan, they can also discuss with us. And we are now also actively working on microwave assisted extraction methods. So if anybody who is interested in using a method there are fast methods that can they would like to use it to extract some chemicals or value added compounds, then they can also work together with us. So, and also like we are also now working on CO2 mitigation, producing some absorbent to absorb CO2s. So this is what trying to convert some this crustacean fish into chitosan, and then we use it to absorb CO2. And yes, we also show some of our plannings, like we would like to establish a biorefinery plant in UMTs, trying to produce chitosan from, stream-related waste material. And also we have, like I mentioned just now, we have a team who work on sustainability assessment. So we have researchers who can perform exergy analysis, eco-environmental analysis, exergo environmental and exergo economic. Simply to say, we can perform life cycle analysis, we can perform techno-economic analysis, and also we invite researchers to work together with us if you are interested in these areas. So this is also another area of collaborations that we can collaborate. Let's say, like if some of you have any processes, you have any systems that you would like to look at the sustainability aspect, please welcome to talk to us, and then we may use this analysis to help you to look at this aspect, the sustainability aspect. And then yes, we are because part of the KPI of our high COE, we want to develop microalgae stream cultivation systems. So yes, so we've been collaborating with Osram, some industrial partners, and also Massey universities, trying to design and set up these systems. Okay. And of course, at the same time, we are also involved in this, environmental related projects. So we want to see the mangrove in tropical coastal zones, want to see the microplastic, PAH, heavy metal in that, and we got some grants to work on that. So simply to say, we are also involved in this eco-toxicological assessments. So this is how I introduce and promote our research. So let's say I presented these slides in one of my presentation at a conference. I presented this and in a conference I attended in Germany like 3 months ago. And then there was this researchers who works a lot on PAH analysis. So then we started to have discussion, and then now this will lead to one matching grant, I think, to work on this area. Okay. So yes, we also work on developing these green technology systems to produce fish or feed. So here we incorporate biofloc and also microwave technologies as part of that process. Okay. So, and another questions that you may have is that, like, when we talk about doing research and or publications, you will always think about quantity or versus qualities. So I would always say that it's quality that is more important. It's about producing, doing good research, leading to good and solid and impactful data that will lead you to have a high chances to publish in a good impact factor journals. Okay. So quality in terms of like always present new and interesting findings, and then we don't duplicate our data and findings. And then of course we try to write in a simple English. And also in our papers, we always have this mention this section. We always write something on this. What is the practical implication? Like the so what factors. So we always encourage our team members when we write the result and discussion, when we try to explain our results or something, we always ask ourselves after we have explained, so what? What is the significance? What is the real meaning of this? So I think that is good. So I will share with you. Always write the practical implication of your research. Okay. And don't be too diverse. So in this case, I would urge, in my case, I focus on my field, but I also be diverse in the sense that in my case, I work on pyrolysis, microwave, and waste and biomass recovery. But when we have the result or something, so we write up in a paper, we want to publish it, we try to be diverse by publishing in different journals so that we can promote our work or our findings to a more or wide research communities. So that's what I mean being diverse. Okay, so example here, you can see that, okay, we work on biochar, we work on microwave. So we publish in Journal of Hazardous Materials. That is a material, more on material related journal. But we also publish in more engineering related journals. Okay, and also on energy related journals. But actually we still focus on our expertise, which is microwave, biochar, microwave. Okay. And then work together with your collaborators is always a team effort. Nowadays, I think it's not wise to work alone. It's always good to work in a team. Okay. So we can do research, draft and write and comment and improve the paper. In this case, this is more about publications. Okay. So like when we write a review, I'm just giving an example here. When we write a review papers, this is what we always start. We start with coming up with a title, and then we will draft an abstract first, okay, a tentative abstract, and then come up with the table of content. And from there, we will discuss with all the co-authors, and then in the end, when we finalize this, then we will then discuss on or finalize on who to write for chapter 1, who to write for chapter 2. Then after that we compile, and then we improve, and then we submit for publication. So now, as you can see, this paper we managed to write up and publish in Bioresource Technologies. Okay, so after all these talks, we know that it's good to write. It's good to find some time to write on something. So you can only learn this by really practice it. Okay, so learn and lead by doing. So maybe you can start with drafting one paper with your mentor, supervisor, or student or collaborators in a very detailed way. When the draft is ready, use the draft as a template, and then for you to write the next papers. It's important to start the momentum, and then keep the momentum. Then your engine will be on, and then you will, once you have the momentum, it's easier. Okay. And yes, I find that like in publication, let's say, it's good that sometimes we are eager that, after we have write up the paper and all this, we are eager to submit to the journals or something. But I always find that it's very important nowadays, if you send your paper for Turnitin or Authenticate, to check the similarity, because you don't want your paper to be rejected or rejected straight away by having a high similarity nowadays. Okay, so it's very important. Okay, maybe I could share as an editor, if I see that the similarity is more than 20%, then you tend to have a bad impression in that case. So similarity should be below, the overall similarity should be below 20%, and the individual similarity would be less than 2%, and that would be good. Okay. And maybe I share some of my writing habits with you guys. Okay. So you always find a time to write, whether it's just now I mentioned like 1 hour, 1 to 2 hours, right? So at least find 1 hour in a day to write. So during my time is I started at 5 a.m. in the morning. That is my best time to write, with no commitments or no duties. So you find a secret time, a suitable time for you to do your writing. And I prefer a quiet and isolated space, so I try to avoid a shared offices. And if you are working in a shared offices, in that case, maybe you can let's say, go to the library, book a room, isolated room to do it. Do that if that suits you. But also, on the other hand, I also have friends who prefer a noisy environment to write. Okay. And yes, when I write papers, I turn off everything, all of this, because these are all attraction to me, honestly. Okay, so when I write, when I work on my papers, I only focus on doing that. So I will avoid doing two things at one time. Okay. And of course, we are allowed, sometimes we are tired. Okay. When you are tired, rest. Okay. Just take a rest. Okay. There's nothing wrong of needing a rest. Okay. And yeah, I think I still have some time, so I will share some publishing tips with you guys based on my experience. Yes, of course, first is don't be a perfectionist. When you think the paper is ready, the draft is ready, like you have checked and everything, just submit. Don't keep on editing, improving, correcting until at a stage that you also don't want to submit anymore. Okay, so don't be a perfectionist. And of course, you have spent so much effort in writing. Your team has spent so much effort in writing up the papers. So aim for submitting it to a good journals. Okay. And choosing a good journal is also, it requires skill. So you can start by identifying what are the good journals in your field, and then look at your paper, and then look at the quality, and then only you think which journal to submit. So as I say, I show an example here. When you want to submit paper to this journal or that journal, always read the journal, the aims and scopes. Okay, it's very, very important. Okay, and how to choose the right journal. First, of course, you assess the quality of your manuscript. You will know whether your manuscript is at this level or that level. Okay, but there's no bad manuscript. So make sure you know which level at least. Okay, and then of course you can submit to a Q1, Q2 journal if you think your paper is good. But if not, then you can always consider Q3, Q4, or new journal like Scopus Index if your paper has less data. Okay, but don't let the paper, kept in your drawer and then not submitting at all. Okay. And of course, you can try some open access journal in some cases. It's faster and easier, but you have to pay. So that depends on you. Okay. So it's okay. It's always good to try. And one thing I would like to highlight is cover letter is important. So try to write a good cover letter so that the editor, is impressed, and then will think that your paper is suitable for inviting reviewers to access to review your papers. Okay. Nowadays, also, I think that it's good that we don't always need to submit our papers to those established journals with impact factor. You can also sometimes consider submitting to a new journal where you think the journal will grow and is also quite fit to your area of expertise. So like, for example, this carbon research, if you are doing research on all this carbon capture, absorption and all this, you can consider this journal. This journal doesn't have an impact factors, but if you look at the site score, it is very likely that when they have their impact factors, the impact factor could be high. But now, because they don't have an impact factors and also they are free, then you can submit your journal to your paper to this journal. Okay. And carbon capture science and technologies. Oh, now the impact factor is already 10.4, but last year is still without impact factors. So what I'm trying to highlight is sometimes there are some new journals, and if you think it's fit to your scope, you can always consider submitting to that journal. But of course, I think in Malaysia, it's preferable that at least the new journal is indexed in Scopus in order to be counted for your KPI or what, is it? Yeah. And as I say, like for my research teams, when we plan our experiment, when we design our experiments, we already determine what journal we want to target, so that when we write up the results when we write the review papers, we already study the guide for authors, we already know the format, so we will follow the format. Okay. And then, of course, our practice is that when we finish drafting a papers, we will always, I always encourage my students to check and revise at least 2 times before sending to supervisors to check further. Okay, and of course, it's always good to have your paper checked by your colleagues or, students in the same research teams to get some second opinions. Okay. And follow the format as always correctly. Like I told you just now, like the length of the manuscripts, the requirement, the number of the figures, whether you need highlight or not, or whether you need to incorporate, whether you need to follow this format and that format. So it's very important. Okay. And cover letter, I couldn't highlight that having a good cover letter will have a high chance for your paper to pass the initial screening by the journal editors. Okay. And of course, I mean, your paper you submitted to the journal, the editors sees is fit to invite reviewers to review your journal, and the reviewers have reviewed your journals and provided some comments. And then when the editor look at the comments and think that yes, your paper has chances and then deserve the revision, and he will send the notification to you about his decision, having you to revise the paper. So once you get the comments, please work on the revision as soon as possible, because I have experience personally and also with some students that when we get this comment, sometimes we think that, there are so many comments, and then we are overwhelmed by the comments, and then we say, it's okay, I leave it for a few days, then only I will come back to the revision. Believe me, in the end, you will take a longer time. But if you work on the revision straight away, or as soon as possible, it will take less time and also and also more efficient. Okay. And of course, some reviewers where their comments could be personal or not reasonable. So don't take these reviews or rejection personally. You know that reviewers are also a person. Sometimes they are in a bad mood or something, but it doesn't. So some of their comments doesn't really reflect the quality of your manuscripts. Okay. And yes, I have to, also to show here that despite the many efforts, we keep on trying submitting to science, let's say. So if you look at here, you can see that accepted, like in this case, only one from this page. All other papers, one published. All others are rejected. So it's not easy to submit paper to this journal and that journal, especially top journal. And we get rejection a lot, but we never give up. We still continue trying. Okay. And yes, when you get the response from the journal, from the editors, and also you get the comments from the reviewers, always be polite and detailed in your response. Always be polite in the sense that always say thank you, and then try to provide your response or try to defend in as detailed as possible. Okay. An editor is less likely to reject the paper when you did well to address the reviewers. So be polite and also be detailed if be possible in your response. Okay. So I think this will be my last slide. So our institute is working on this area where I'm involved in some of the applications and also some of the research. So I also take this opportunity to extend my invitation to all of you. If you have interest in working on this area, please feel free to reach out to us. And of course, if we can collaborate, that would be even great or something. Okay, so we are involved in waste and biomass recovery. In particular, for my group, we are very interested in pyrolysis and microwave applications. And now we also have a team working on microalgae, and we are trying to promote circular economy in aquaculture industries. So we are working on adopting biorefinery application in aquaculture, trying to convert some aquaculture waste into some value-added products. So if any of you, you think that your expertise or your research or your skill can help in, can involve in this biorefinery, please let us know. And also we are working on this recirculating aquaculture systems, and we are also working on eco-toxicological studies like microplastics, PAH, heavy metals in this environment and that environment. Okay. Right. I think that's all for my sharing with you all today. And if you have any questions, then I'll be happy to answer or to share my thoughts with you. Thanks a lot. And that will be all from me for now. Thank you.
Alright, Alhamdulillah telah selesai sudah sesi perkongsian yang disampaikan oleh Profesor T.S. Dr. Lam yang bertajuk Navigating Academic Advance, A Journey Through Research Strategy and Practice. Saya percaya perkongsian ini akan memberi manfaat yang besar dalam usaha untuk memperkukuhkan pemahaman dan kemahiran dalam pendidikan akademik melalui penerapan strategi yang berkesan dan amalan terbaik untuk mencapai kecemerlangan akademik. Seterusnya saya membuka peluang kepada tuan puan yang ingin bertanyakan soalan. Boleh tanya terus. Sama ada buka kamera, buka mic, tanya ataupun boleh melalui chat. Silakan.
Thank you.
So, Prof, maybe I start the ball rolling.
Yes, please.
I'm Dr. Nguyen from Civil Engineering Technology Faculty.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for your sharing. I just want to ask about how do you actually juggle your time? I mean, I believe you are in one of the management posts also, right, in UMT. So how do you juggle your time between all these research and at the same time management things that we have to handle, and in the end make everything work?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nguyen. That is a very good question. Okay, I once discussed with friends and also who are also in the admin position. I asked whether they have they have this work-life balance, and most of them replied to me, say, Lam, there's no work-life balance actually. But I disagree with them. So what I've been practicing is yes, we have admin position, but we also always have to remember that we have our teaching and also we have our research obligations. Okay, so I would say I'm quite disciplined in managing my time. So I will always have time, despite like your admin duties and obligations, and where it requires you to do this and do that at a certain time. But every day, I will have a specific time for my research and for my supervision and also for teachings. And you have to be very disciplined. But of course, in some cases admin duties requires you to use up your the time that you allocated for your research and also for your supervision, right? In that case, you just have I just have to use up some of my personal time, but I try to avoid that. So I hope I answer your question.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I think the summary is we need to be disciplined, and also at times we may need a little bit of sacrifice of the personal or family time, but we try to limit.
No, I try not to sacrifice my family times. Okay, maybe I can share from another perspective. Is not only it's good to be disciplined, but there's another thing that is very important is you need to trust your team. Trust your team in the sense that, like, one is you trust your research team, that you know that everything has been discussed and they will be able to conduct the research or to conduct perform the planning. That is for your research team. But at the same time, from your admin duty side, right, you also need to trust your staff. So in that case, to establish that trust so that they are being able to be independent to conduct, is you need to have a really good communication with them. Then to build up the trust, then in most cases, in many of the things that they don't need your advice, they don't need your intervention, they are able to carry out their work independently. In that case, then you will have managed your time properly. At least we try our best to do that.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Prof, for your advice. Thank you.
Thank you. Any chat?
So kalau saya tengok kat sini kat ruangan chat tak ada sebarang soalan. So ada sebarang soalan lagi daripada Tuan Puan? Peserta kita pada pagi ni?
I have a question. Prof.
Hi.
Hi.
Syahruzi.
Yes. Prof Lam. Okay. Nice to meet you today.
Nice. Good to see you.
Thank you for very, how can I say, admiring talk. I can see your achievement is just amazing. Okay. So I'd like to ask a question on the team management. Okay. So yeah, it seems like for you to actually achieve this whatever you presented, it's not that easy if we are alone or with a weak team. So my question to you is, how do you motivate and your team to actually keep going as your spirit, and how you actually maintain those performance? Okay. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
If
you.
possible, try if you can share. I want to know how big is your team, if you
Okay.
can share. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Syahruzi. Okay. So I currently have about 15 people, 15 researchers in my team. Okay. So this team is
Prof, I can't hear you. I think you are muted.
Can you hear now?
Boleh. Saya dengar suara Prof.
Syahruzi, can you hear now? Tak pasti dia dengar ke tidak tu.
Itulah.
Dr. Syahruzi, can you hear?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear, Syahruzi? You dengar saya kan? Apa tu, Nurul?
Dengar, Prof.
Yes, Prof, continue.
Okay. Right. So I currently have about 15 people in my team. So consisting of research associate, postdocs, PhD students, and also master students. Okay. How do you motivate them? Okay. So what I can say is that is really, one is you have to spend time with them. Okay. Meaning you have to, despite how busy you are, like in my case, every week I will find time to meet each one of them. Okay. So that's what I have always been promising, because I think having communication is very important, because sometimes for some students, even they don't have anything to report to you, but if they get to see you, then in a way they feel secure. Or sometimes if they are lost, then at least you'll be able to, interfere and then try to advise or try to guide them. So having regular time to meet up with them, that's one. Secondly is train them well. Like when the student, let's say for student, join me at the beginning, is I will have a close supervision. Make sure that they are trained. Like let's say if they are going to do this and that experiments, we make sure that they are trained until they are capable of doing the experiments. Then slowly they will be more and more independent. Okay, so train them well. And third is motivate them by giving them as many opportunities as possible. Okay, what kind of opportunities? So like for some of my students, when they started to do their master's or PhD with me, they already told me that, Prof, or Dr. Lam, if you can, like I hope that during my master's or PhDs, I can have a chance to really like to go to overseas, whether to attend conferences or whether to have research attachments. So because when I asked them at the beginning, so I know that, then I will plan for that. So like for most of my students, they managed to do research attachment in the labs of my collaborators in overseas. So that is one way of motivating them. And that's also in a way highlight that it's very important that you have collaborations with researchers from overseas. So my students get to do research attachment in like whether 1 month, 3 months, some even 6 months or 1 year in some universities. So that's one. And secondly is I also support them to attend at least one international conference and one local conferences. Okay. And also I also try to have them to involve in some of my industrial related projects, because for some of them they are more interested in working with the industries. So in that case, I will involve them in my industrial related projects. And for some of them, they like to have this short-term mobility. So in that case, I will send them to my friends, let's say my collaborators lab in Taiwan or something, in some mobility programs. So that's how I motivate them. I hope I have answered your questions. Yeah, so motivate them.
Yes.
Spend time with them, communicate, because I have to speak from another perspective, is some of our students, they have problems, and then they will lose their interest to study or something. So I always find that let's say if you have time to meet up with them every week, then you will know, oh, student ni ada problem, student ni macam stress sikit or something. Then you will be able to interfere. And in some cases, or in most cases, you still manage to help them. Because some they will just lose interest or something. So regular meetup with them is useful. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Prof, how big is your team?
15. I have 15 people now in my team.
Okay, and that one is throughout. How about outside university, like international? So we have actively
yes.
like,
internationally, like
collaborate
let's
with
say. Yes. You mean if let's say you are talking about the collaboration activities, I think it's quite big, because like some of the collaborations involve joint supervision of my collaborators' students, let's say in China, in Taiwan, and also in Canada as well. So for that one, I cannot tell you how big, but my research team in Malaysia is about 15 people. Okay.
Understood. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. We have Dr. Yasmin, share a tips on how to get postgraduate student. Okay. Is UMPSA, just asking, I'm just getting some opinion. Is it a challenge to recruit postgraduate students in UMPSA? Let me just ask. Maybe some of you can answer that. Anybody? Or maybe Dr. Yasmin? Okay, nobody answer. It's okay. Okay, let me just share my perspective. In UMT, because we are not the university located in the Klang Valley, so it's a challenge for many of the researchers or lecturers to get students. So the way I do it is I'm sure many of you are still involved in teachings. So you will also involved in supervising final year student, right? So in my case, I at the beginning stage, I get my postgraduate students from from my PITA students. Those of them who have been my PITA students, some of them then continue as a master student and then as a PhD students with me. So as I say, is train your student well, even for your PITA students. I'm sure like each one of you will supervise final year students, PITA students. So from there, that's where you will get it. And then after a while, then when you get grants or something, then when you have your network in Malaysia and also in overseas, then your friends, your collaborators, it will be a source for you to ask whether they can recommend some students to you. So I also have some of my students who are recommended by my collaborators in overseas. They will say that, oh, Lam, I have this student, I have that students, they are looking for postdoc, they are looking to further their master's studies or PhD studies. I wonder whether you have grants or what to supervise them. So that's also another source of getting postgraduate students. And I find this route is also quite okay because normally like friends, those students who are recommended by friends are more reliable because some of them, they have been, let's say, like a PITA students of my friends. So they know whether this student is okay or not, whether it's suitable for masters or PhDs. Then when you take them, you supervise them, then the chances of having a problematic student is less. So I hope I answer your question to Dr. Yasmin. Yeah. Yeah, any more questions? Oh, one more, Dr. Yasmin. How to convince the final to further study, more interested to searching for job, not convenience to talk. Okay, you're on the way to Malacca. Okay, thank you for your question, despite you're on your way. Okay, to convince the student, I try to, I shouldn't say I convince them. So when they do final year project with me, at that time, maybe to answer like what I have answered to Dr. Sharozi just now, when they are doing their final year project with me, I already gave try to give as many opportunities as possible. Like, for example, for my final year students, depending on their diligence, if possible, I will help them to publish one papers. Okay, so that gives them the confidence. Oh, final year project for final year PITA student can also publish one paper. Doesn't matter what journal it is, whether it is a low rank journal, Scopus Index journal, but if he or she can publish one journal, that is a very high satisfaction for the student. So that's one thing. And another opportunity is also for my PITA students. I also sometimes I send them for conferences as well. So maybe there's I would say there's more like a motivation, and also for their final year projects, when they want to do their final year project with me, I will always have a discussion with them first. I will ask them, are you interested just like finishing your degree and then you go for a job after that, or maybe you have thoughts of furthering your studies? So some of them will answer me that, oh, Prof, maybe I really want to further my study or something. So for those of them who want to further their study, then I would try to plan their experiments so that maybe they can do some of the experiments, and that will be a good preparation for them to further their study to master level. So I would say these are some of the motivations or some of the preparation works that I have done, maybe sort of in a ways to convince the final year students. Okay. Any more questions? Welcome, Dr. Yasmin.
Okay. Good morning, Prof. Thank you for your inspiring talk. Okay, my name is Muhammad Herwan Sulaiman. Just want to ask you, what do you think about the
Herwan?
AI? Have you
tak dengar suara? Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, what do you think about generative AI? Have you used any generative AI like ChatGPT in your writing?
Oh, nowadays, it's not about we use ChatGPT in our writing or not. It's the question should be whether our students use ChatGPT in our, okay? So I have checked with some students. Some of them, they did use AI to improve the English, but never ever to use AI to write the whole papers. They use it to improve some sentences. That's yes, okay? And why I'm saying that, okay, from an editor perspective, nowadays we editors can use some software to check whether, let's say, this paper submitted to a journal, the AI percentage is how much. Okay, so we will have this. We will be able to detect this. So I think for some publishers, they allow us to use AI in improving the English. So in that case, I'm okay with my students using AI to improve the English of some sentences, because some of their sentences just simply you cannot understand. And they did say to me, yes, they use AI, but definitely not for generating figures, image, and not for writing the whole papers. I hope I answer your questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Welcome.
Alright. Ada soalan lagi yang nak diajukan kepada Prof. Lam? So, saya beranggapan dah tiada soalan. Baiklah, dengan berakhirnya sesi soal jawab sebentar tadi, maka berakhirlah program bicara kepimpinan UMPSA Siri 2 2024. Bagi pihak penganjur, saya merakamkan ucapan jutaan terima kasih kepada Profesor T.S. Dr. Lam Soo Syung atas perkongsian pengalaman beliau sebentar tadi. Ucapan terima kasih juga diucapkan kepada tuan-puan yang bersama-sama sehingga ke akhir program. Semoga ilmu yang diperolehi daripada program ini dapat dimanfaatkan sepenuhnya dalam memacu kecemerlangan diri dan seterusnya menyumbang kepada kelestarian universiti dalam bidang akademik. Akhir kata, saya akhiri sesi bicara ini sekali lagi dengan ucapan ribuan terima kasih dan sehingga berjumpa lagi di siri seterusnya. Sekian, wassalam. Terima kasih, Prof.
Terima kasih semua. Terima kasih Nurul.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prof.